Good morning, everybody. I am Murli, talking to you on behalf of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce and Bidadi Industries Association. We are celebrating the National Safety Month of March. And as part of the celebrations, today we have Mr. Anucheth, who is the Joint Commissioner, Bangalore Traffic Police, and he's going to talk on road safety. Slide, please. And before we get into the details of agenda for today's meeting, let me also say that we have following annual sponsors of BCIC, Bahala, Continental, Fundamax, IAMPL, MTR, SDM, Sona Group, TVS Motor Company, Vishwas Constructions, and Wipro. We thank each and every sponsor for during the year. And this is today's agenda. I'll be talking to you for about few minutes, and thereafter we'll leave the floor to Mr. Anucheth, IPS, who's going to do the special address, and thereafter followed with a discussion or a presentation on safety from Mr. Raghavendra Krishnamurthy, who is a co-founder of Antiz Technologies. And we'll have few Q&A session, and thereafter wind up today's session. And just to start today's proceedings, let me have the honor of introducing Mr. Anucheth. Mr. Anucheth, as I said, is a Joint Commissioner of Police Traffic, Bangalore City. He hails from Kolar district. He's a local man, and he holds an electronic engineering degree from Audi College of Engineering, Mysore Road, Bangalore. And he passed civil services examination in 2008 and was selected for IPS and allotted Karnataka cadre in 2009 batch. And he is an IPS of 2009 batch. He has done his initial charge at Puttur subdivision. He has been at the forefront of various efforts carried out for the betterment of the public, including making sure the migrants are sent home, distribution of rations, and more during more challenging unprecedented COVID times. Thank you very much, sir, for your cause. And let me also tell you that BCIC during the COVID time has done enormous social connect, I would say. His efforts, Mr. Anuchet's efforts, have been lauded not just by the police force, but also by the public. Mr. Anuchet and his team has been awarded the Medal for Excellence in Investigation by the Union Home Ministry for officers of the Karnataka Special Investigation Team, SIT. So with this, I think the honor of welcoming Mr. Anuchet, and I will request Dr. S. Devarajan, Vice President.
The money plan says, I think.
Thank you.
It needs to go for money also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the floor is yours, sir, and the presentation material is also loaded in the deck. So if you want the presentation material to, or if you want to talk for a couple of minutes and then move, it's up to you.
No, I'll just speak. Start.
Yeah.
Will that be available to everybody?
We have it as Mr. Vinit Verma, who is the Vice President of the Chamber. Welcome, Vinitji.
Morning, sir. Morning. Welcome. I'm sorry I've not been able to make it physically, but we're delighted to have you with us, sir.
Thank you so much for the.
Yeah, and our president is traveling, sir. He's in Hyderabad, but he has conveyed his best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will the presentation be available to everybody?
Yeah, it is visible, and yeah.
Can make it.
You can start.
Yeah, you can put on the PowerPoint. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for inviting me here today as the part of the National Safety Month and the importance given to road safety. It's a nice opportunity to interact with all the industry members, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. First of all, I'd like to just speak about Bangalore, since this is the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce from the traffic perspective. At a glance, the population of Bangalore is around 1.4 crores, plus minus floating population. We have a vehicle population of 1.07 crores. That's the second largest in India. And we have a vehicle population ratio of 1:1.3. So for every 1.3%, there's one vehicle. So this is the lowest ratio. We would like this ratio to be high, as in we want more people and less vehicles.
Yes.
So which means more people would be using public transportation, whereas it's not so here. Here more people are using more vehicles personally. It's also an aspirational thing. I mean, a lot of people say, why can't you stop registration or why can't you go for this? I think it's absolutely draconian and nobody would want that. And it's naturally as your economic status goes up and you would want to graduate from a public transport to a two-wheeler to a four-wheeler, probably a better four-wheeler, more four-wheelers in your house. So one four-wheeler lead to 2 or 3. So vehicle population in Bangalore is very high. And the vehicle to population ratio is very low. We have a road length of 44,000 kilometers within Bangalore city. We have about 13,000 intersections and junctions, of which 363 are through traffic signals. We'll be increasing that to 500 shortly in the coming next 2 to 3 years. So I just wanted to give a brief overview of what Bangalore has. Next slide. This just to give you a snapshot of 2 important issues I wanted to raise before I start off with the road safety. If you see the vehicle growth, it's been exponential. In 1976, it was about 1 lakh vehicles, whereas in 2022, it is 1 crore. So there's been 100-fold growth over a period of just about 45 years. And if you see the graph also, it is an exponential growth that is happening, and it's going to increase only. It is not going to reduce. And the other one is the usage of public transport. In Bangalore, it's about 47% use public transport, which is very less compared to other metropolitan cities like Delhi or Kolkata. Historically, we did not have a metro or a suburban rail system, which is coming now. So hopefully the usage of public transport will increase. And with that, I think we'll be able to address or mitigate a few of the issues that we are facing today. I just wanted you to have this in mind so that when I give my talk, you can understand why this is important. Yeah. So moving on to road safety, basically, they talk about 4 E's of road safety, the one being engineering and technological interventions, the other being enforcement by the law enforcement agencies, primarily the police, and to some extent the road transport authority. Then we have education and awareness, and we have emergency response. So in so far as everybody, all the members of BCIC are concerned, I think the first 2 aspects, I think not so much can be done as an, but the education and awareness and the emergency response, that I think everybody, every common citizen and every public spirited individual can do it. So I'll concentrate more on that. So going one by one, see, engineering and technological interventions, basically, if you go to the next slide. Yeah. This is give an example of at what speed. This is the impact velocity at speed, and that is the estimated risk for different road users. So the first column is of injury for belted car drivers. The other one is fatality for car driver, and the other is a pedestrian. At 30 kilometers at speed, the probability that even a pedestrian dies is just 8%. At 50 kilometers, it goes to 87%. Wow. Right? And whereas the injury to a driver is just about 10%, and the fatality is about 30%. Now, 50 kilometers speed is the legally permissible limit of any metropolitan city, including Bangalore city. And 80 is on the highways. So even at a highway, if you're a belted driver, it's about 20%. But at 80 kilometers per hour speed, the fatality is 100% to a pedestrian if the impact happens at 80%. And World Resource Institute, WRI, who we have partnered with, recently did a survey in 2022 regarding the fatalities for pedestrians. It is very sad to reveal that 64% of the fatalities in pedestrians are above the age of 60. Senior citizens are most affected by car fatalities. So I just wanted to give a snapshot of how it is, and the graph obviously shows you. So you can see there's an explosion after about 40 kilometers per speed. I think it becomes very this thing, and at about 55 kilometers per hour speed, the impact to a pedestrian probably will lead to death.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So yeah, next slide. Yeah. So I wanted to come to this. So this is a graph of the high-income countries. Each is each color on the graph represents a country. The timeline you can see from 1950, they plotted up to 2010. This is the number of fatalities which happened per capita, per 1 lakh of population. Now, if you see the graph up to about, say, 1970, 72, you will see that. One second. Yes, sir. So this is when I want to give an idea of how what interventions led to reduction in fatalities. One is up to 1970, it was just thought of like, we'll create more awareness, we'll talk about black spots, we'll increase the fines, we'll give more enforcement. But as you can see, the fatalities increase. Just click next, please. Yeah, so at about, next. Right, then research started happening on road safety and what safety measures need to be taken. So it was on both road engineering as well as design engineering. Like you had cars with seat belts, then you had cars with airbags, then they designed cars with resistant windshields, then there was side mirrors. So I mean, just to talk about the car design. But then again, in road engineering, we had a lot of slew of measures coming in. In India, we have the Indian Road Congress, which specifies the standards for a lot of things involved with road safety. So what needs to be the width of a pedestrian crossing? What needs to be the width of a pedestrian walkway? Where we need to have a foot overbridge, where it needs to be signalized, where to provide for parking. So parking also is a very scientific thing. So a lot of people ask me why you cannot give a parking here. So basically, if the traffic flow of vehicles is more than 2,400 per hour, we cannot provide parking there. It's simply not possible. So so all these are specified by the Indian Road Congress. That started happening once research started happening, collaboration with universities happening, and people actually thought of it as a science rather than just more than just a randomized or like more of word of mouth or commonsensical thing. It became more of a science. So you can see after new vehicles, road safety standards coming in, seat belt, helmet, and then enforcement through, basically drunken driving, against drunken driving. So the fatality is reduced, right? So this give an idea that it is just not about awareness or putting fines or enhancing fines or making it more, strict. A lot of people say, why don't you take if we impose 3,000 rupees fine instead of a 300 rupee fine, it'll get sorted. No, it will not. Science says it does not. So in fact, if you want to reduce fatalities, you want to reduce injuries, we need to go towards more collaborative research, more safety standards, better awareness to use these safety measures, right? So that's what I wanted to impress upon you through this slide. Right? Next. So now a lot of programs have been done. I can speak about road safety for a couple of hours, but I just thought I'll reduce it to what is relevant to you and what I wanted to put the message across, because all of you, I'm sure, are going toward, you'll have your own safety programs in your this thing. In terms of road safety, this is a study done in 2007 by Alan Williams, and this is the characteristic of an unsuccessful program. He said passive messaging through signs, pamphlets, browsers, or buttons, educating children under 8-9 years old, slogans, simple exhortations. So on usually in road safety week, we have children going on rallies, or we have this thing. So those don't work, right? Then you have education programs which are lecture oriented, which are only like giving out only information, which is not interactive or which does not make the person learn, right? So which is not today we have a mix of AR, VR, MR, and immersive learning, gamified learning. A lot of things are there. So that they work better compared to this education programs. Now we have short-term programs that have low incentive methods. They didn't work. Use of extreme fear or scare techniques like showing very gory graphic pictures of an accident or a drunken driving case. They had a detrimental effect rather than having a positive effect. Yeah, next slide. These are the characteristics of a successful program. Now, if you gave information regarding relative safety characteristics of similar products, you thought of it more of a health issue rather than this thing, and what are the health benefits of say using a particular safety feature. Then to support law enforcement agencies, like for example in Bangalore city we have something called as I Change My City. It's a public eye app. So you yourself can contribute to the enforcement of traffic fines. So a lot of people do tag violation photo and say, please take action. So these things help improve the road safety. Yeah. I mean, to enhance enforcement. So it became a force multiplier, right? Then basically, it should be a part of a long-term community-based kind of a program, and it needs to lead to behavioral changes. Now, that is more important. rather than just one this thing. And of course, education of policymakers and professionals. So in terms of thinking about road safety more of as a public health issue rather than just one-off thing. So if you actually do the number of people who died because of road accident and because of cancer, you'll find road accidents was more, right? And road accident end of the day is an injury. An injury leading to a fatality or a non-fatality. So injury is as such defined as a disease because as per, if you treat it like a health issue, then we will go to a more broad-based approach towards road safety and enhancing road safety. Next, please. Just go back. Go front, please.
No, go to previous slides.
Just go front. Sorry.
Fact, it is more than COVID deaths, right? COVID death is only 40,000. Last year you have 1.5 lakh road deaths.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Go to this slide.
Yeah, you can go to this.
Go to the next slide. Next one.
Where that engineering was there, no? I'll just go one by one to that.
Yeah, that go to
Back. One more back. Yeah.
This one.
So I just wanted to say that in terms of engineering and technology intervention, it requires at a policy level, and it requires at a design level. So I mean, I'm sure that there'll be wonderful car companies which are part of your this thing.
So right as a part of our team.
Yeah, so they'll be taking. I mean, there's been a huge. I think there has been
Engineering.
huge leaps every year in terms of road safety and enhancing the safety of the vehicle. And enforcement is done obviously by us, and we are now going for more of a contactless kind of a intervention. And in Bangalore city, we have done something called as intelligent traffic management system, where we have violation detection cameras as well as the ANPR cameras that we are able to capture violations, 7 types of basic violations, which are prone more towards road safety, like violation of helmet, triple riding, seat belt, driver on call, means on the mobile phone, violation of red light or stopping on stop line. So these are those basic 7 violations which we thought would enhance, if we try and curb them, would enhance road safety. And so we are going more towards a contactless kind of a thing, because generally there is a perception issue that if I, as a common man or a common public, if I'm on the road and if I find there's a traffic jam, and just after the traffic jam, police is catching somebody, whether he's doing his job or not, we are all frustrated. It's like, instead of clearing the traffic jam, why are they doing this, right? So the focus of Bangalore City Police in the last couple of months has been towards more of regulation and traffic management. We want to ensure smoother flow of traffic, then go towards enforcement. And going forward, there'll be more contactless enforcement rather than police doing it, because we have the technology to do it. There's AI, we have an AI engine working at that backend, which has an accuracy of about 97% in daytime for all the 7 violations, which is very high. So the confidence level of accurate detection is 97% in the daytime, but in the night time we are finding it very difficult. Accuracy, depending on type of violation, is around 20 to 25%. The problem with that is in the night time, it's not able to differentiate. Say you're having a person with very bushy hair or a helmet, it cannot differentiate. Or if you have somebody using a mobile phone, it is in the night time, it's not able to differentiate whether it's the driver or the person sitting behind the pillion. Right? Okay. So if the pillion is using, it's not a violation. So there is some issue with the violation in the night. But this is going to happen going forward. We will only increase the number of contactless violations, and we want to do that. So because the technology is there, and we don't want, and it needs to be evidence-based. Tomorrow somebody says, wow, the violation, here's the photo, here's the video. We have a 5-second video also. We show the video. Say that, okay.
You're allowing Bluetooth talk mobiles.
Yeah, we are in cars. In cars we are, but again, it's a user behavior modification.
It gets deviated.
Yeah, it does. Anything which distracts the mind. Even music. This LED lights on very flashy LED lights on this thing. Especially in Kanilkom, you would have seen one big messaging board. Right? We have found a lot of people who have bumped cars. It has not been major accident, but gone by watching that. So anything which distracts you from your driving this thing. would reduce safety. So in terms of enforcement, so now I'm coming to education and awareness and emergency response. Now, education is always something which all of us can do, right? So I'm sure you'll have a lot of your drivers or people, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of companies which uses like logistics, hospitals, and food aggregators and all. So we need to basically make them aware that first, your safety comes first. Right? So people always wonder, like, if you ask a lot of people, why do you wear a helmet? They say, because I'll get caught. Right? So that needs to modify to that. I need to ensure my safety. If I meet with an accident, it'll reduce the probability of an injury or a fatality. Correct. Right. Correct. So I think that needs to be put across to a lot of your drivers or anybody or any employee or any person, any member of your thing. He needs to be made aware that this is my safety I'm talking about, my children's safety I'm talking. That's why we have something called Catch and Young program. It's a student movement for road safety is there across Bangalore city. We have picked up schools. So we go there and we tell the children that, when next time you get into a car, you tell your dad to wear the seatbelt. You tell your mom to wear the helmet. So, and a lot of parents come and tell us that our children doesn't get into it until we wear the
that's good.
So the idea was to use positive reinforcement and societal pressure to say that, okay, let us get into this kind of headspace where we think it is more about saving ourselves, ensuring our own safety, rather than just because we'll violate the law, we will get caught or I'll have to pay a fine or something like that. So there needs to be a behavior modification. Just go to the last slide, please. Yeah. So one is, this is the most important slide of my talk. I just wanted to say that if we can talk about safety measures in terms of use of helmets, seatbelts, these are all things that all of us can do. So next time we get into a car or wherever you keep an awareness program for your staff, or we just say use a helmet or a seatbelt. It does save. Like we have seen that there's science behind it which says that these things work, right? The other one is sticking to speed limits. Generally, speed limits is not only for yourself, it is for pedestrian safety also. Like I said, a lot of pedestrian deaths happen because of extreme speed. And like I showed you that slide, if you're at a speed of above 50, most likely it will result in the fatality of the pedestrian. And you'll not believe, in the Bangalore city, we had 688 pedestrian deaths, where we feel the average traffic speed is 15 kilometers per hour.
Yeah. Even 15 kilometers there isn't.
Even 15 kilometers.
Even 15. Oh.
So that's the average speed. I mean, people talk about Bangalore congestion and other things, but it's quite high, the number of pedestrian deaths. Then the other one is whether we can have modification of user behavior, right? We have use of mobile phones. We have what you say, this driving against one way or traffic. So we recently been working with a few of the food aggregators, because we find a lot of violations are happening by food aggregators. We said, so like Hulu has a mechanism where it can detect it is going against the traffic. So we're working with a few other cab services and cab aggregators also to detect when it goes against the. So there is technology available. We have told a few of the food aggregators also that needs to help a lot. So we are having another round of meeting next month to modify user behavior. Basically, we want people to understand that it will not serve the purpose. The problem is by putting the emphasis on speedy delivery, we are incentivizing rule breaking, right? When you say rate, how fast was it? Was it fast? Was it good? Did he reach on time? Especially food delivery. Was it hot or whatever? I mean, they ask you. Few of the guys ask you rate the delivery and all that. So if you're rated bad, it penalizes them. And that makes them, okay, let us get a good rating and let us reach fast. So you take shortcuts. When you take shortcuts, it leads to these kind of things. So we are trying to work with them, and we're trying to work. See, end of the day, industry also should flourish. We shouldn't have very draconian or very strict laws which inhibit this thing itself, right? But we need to make them aware that one is the education of their own delivery partners to say that, or drivers to say that this is not acceptable. We should not do this. The second one is finding, technological solutions to that. There, it is possible to find out if the person is driving against this. So that's regarding user education. The other one is awareness and driver education regarding this golden hour. Generally, we have found that in a road accident, if a person is brought to the hospital within an hour, the chances of his survival are. This golden hour needs to be, the concept needs to be thought. Even if they can take him to the nearest hospital and he's given some aid, the chances of his survival improves, right? And some sort of pre-hospital trauma care, like giving the CPR or ensuring that his head position is straight, like while shifting him or something like that. All drivers can be given that. And we need to teach them to be good Samaritans, right? There is, in fact, the law itself was modified in 2016 to say that who brought the person to hospital will not be asked. The police does not ask.
Penalized.
Not only penalized. I mean, there's huge fear that whether they'll be caught, they'll be called to court. The Honorable Supreme Court in 2016 modified those guidelines, and it has been modified in the Act itself. So this is a good Samaritan law kind of a thing. So if a person brings, and we don't even ask them who brought, why it happened. The objective is to save life rather than then we'll see the legal process and other things. So that needs to be impressed upon. Still people feel, okay, if I take something, will police ask me? We'll have to go to court tomorrow. We'll have to tender evidence tomorrow. No. I mean, first just to save that person. And more importantly, we need to promote the use of public transport. To public transport and metro coming through. And if your industries are located along the metro line, not only the last mile connectivity at your end, at the end of the user also, your employee also. See, you have to ensure that the last mile connectivity from their house to the metro is also taken care of. Absolutely. I think a lot of people, I speak on outer ring road. So outer ring road is really beautiful. Like, the exit is very nice. So it goes right into the companies and this things. But I always wonder, okay, first, how do you get them onto the train in the first place? So, but I'm sure you'll have a lot of data where they stay, how it's possible. I think even with suburban rail coming through, I think we can promote the use of public transport, which will go to decongest traffic in Bangalore and help this thing. We are already doing many decongestion measures we are doing. So traffic calming measures are happening. Peak hour traffic is being managed in a different way. But going forth, I think, so right now we have banned the use of heavy goods vehicles in the peak hours in the morning and in the evening. But I'm sure a day is not far off where we'll have to ban completely heavy goods vehicles.
And ring road coming in.
Only peripheral ring road, where you have these hubs, these logistic hubs and these warehouses, where they come, and from there a small vehicle will come. A day is not far off, maybe 4 or 5 years from now, we'll have to completely ban, because it's a question of demand versus supply. Supply being the road surface area, which doesn't go as much as the vehicles coming into Bangalore. So registration is about 2,000 to 3,000 a day. So simply there's no road carrying capacity possible in the existing thing. So I think going towards better public transport use of and reduction in private use of vehicles would decongest Bangalore to a great extent. Right? If you can promote public transport through your own carpooling or vehicles, or use, like if you're located along the metro or suburban rail,
linked to the metro station.
That will be really good. And it would enhance safety, obviously. So thank you so much. This is what I wanted to do. Thank you.
Very.
Members having any points to clarify, ask Mr. Anucheth, welcome now.
So if I may, sir, this is Vineet Verma here. I have a few concerns which I want to share. One, of course, you have already addressed, sir, that about the food aggregators and the deliveries. Now, what is happening is actually a situation seems to be getting even worse with the products like Blinkit and Zepto now promising deliveries within 10 minutes. You know, even when you have to go personally go down to the local Kirana shop, it will take you at least 20 minutes. But these fellows deliver within 9 to 10 minutes. I've tried it. So in fact, I happened to ask one of the delivery boys that how do you manage your fulfillment center is about 1.5 kilometers away from my destination. How did you reach in 9 minutes? So he had to admit that, they drive in the opposite directions. Sometimes they drive over footpaths also, just to reach the thing, because apparently there's some penalty for them in case they don't deliver within certain time. So this one concern which you've already addressed. It'd be great if we can bring in some discipline there. Delivery within 9 minutes is very unreasonable. I mean, I think our people are being pushed unnecessarily. So that was one. Since you're meeting them, sir, I thought I'll leave this thought with you as well, that, I mean, we are okay to receive the goods within 20 minutes also, not necessarily within 9 minutes. So that was one, sir. Second thing is that I've also seen a major nuisance happening, particularly at the railway level crossings within the city. Particularly these two-wheelers, they just don't care. The moment the level crossing, the gate goes up, they don't care which direction they're driving. They just flood the whole thing. I have personally seen a lot of cars getting scrapes, a lot of pedestrians getting hit because of this two-wheelers in a rush to just either beat the level crossing closing, or the moment it opens, they are rushing through. So if something can be done about that, some kind of a regulation. Third thing is that while I know years ago, sir, that you've already taken up the task of scientific road bumps in quite a few areas, but unfortunately in quite a few lanes and bylanes, there are some bumps which are just built by the local citizens, the local people, and some of the bumps are dangerous. They're not even painted or highlighted. I personally faced it myself, in one of the back roads on Railway Parallel Road. Suddenly at the dark of the night, you don't see there's a road bump. Suddenly overnight, they built one. And that's completely unscientific. And today, as you know, that most of the cars have this low ground clearance, and more often than not, you'll end up scraping those road bumps. So that was the other part. And of course, the third one is that, again, this is something which I personally see as a major nuisance, is that particularly in the lanes and bylanes of Bangalore, suddenly the local people will block that road. They suddenly put up some shamiana because of some death in the family or some wedding in the family, and there's no warning outside on the main road from where you turn right into the lane that the road is closed. That leads to a huge traffic jam. Suddenly you find these people, and of course the authorities, various authorities, be it the BWSSB or whatever, suddenly without warning overnight the roads are dug up. I noticed one day the road has been built, black tarred. Within a week, the same road has been dug up again. So these are some of the thoughts I thought I'll share with you, sir, that, some thought for you in case there's some way you can help us bring in some policies, some discipline. Thank you, sir.
Good.
Yeah, so with regard to the last point that you raised, certainly they do take up permissions while digging up arterial and subarterial roads.
Yes.
In terms of, I think we can, that can't be avoided simply because even if a road is freshly tarred, if there is a blockage in any of the pipes going through, they'll have to dig it up. Now, you are right that we need to enforce the signages and to give indicators and to give information sign regarding what needs to be, told to the road users, and to probably give alternative routes. And with regard to the railway crossings, I think the thought process is now to go towards completely ROP or underpass, to go towards that. But within that limits, we'll talk to the railway to see what happens. 6 meters on either side of the railway, this thing belongs to the railway property. So probably we can talk to them and put vertical tubular cones so that the traffic is managed on the same lane. Problem is they overtake and come right next to this thing, and there's a huge thing when the train passes and the gate lifts, that there's a mixing of traffic. So we can look into that and we'll talk.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, I have
Please.
Yeah, sure.
there is two-wheelers. The major chunk of the traffic is two-wheelers, almost 60% is there. The norms for the two-wheelers is not very strictly followed, or a disciplined lane is not catered for them.
Yeah.
And also the safety norms for the two-wheeler is also not to the standards, especially in India. So this we may have to work on.
That's a policy intervention. From our end, we generally give whatever our feedback is.
Oh.
See, by design itself, a two-wheeler is not safe.
Yeah, not safe.
Right?
So that you have to impose it, sir.
Yeah. So that's the way of life. I mean, people can't afford four-wheelers. We have to be,
even a little expensive, even for a safety things, they should impose it on the manufacturer side, so that there will be some norms in the. Nowadays, actually, there is a technology for now. The airbag is also designed for two-wheelers.
Okay.
So it's coming up.
I think it's a progressive thing.
Yes.
As technology improves, as science improves, I think we'll be able to do it. But you are right. I mean, anything which enhances safety or this thing should
Actually, two-wheeler, that is a major exit numbers.
I think this point, I'm from TVS Motor. So we are trying to have a mechanism in which if you have a helmet, if you don't wear the helmet,
Correct.
the vehicle will not start.
That's right.
We're trying to link these two. Right. But it costs money. So we have to balance these areas.
People will bypass it. Right?
Yes.
Like we had the seat
Yeah, yeah.
that
Seat belt,
if you wear a seat belt, if you
yeah.
don't with that noise
It
would
will
stop,
click. Yeah.
or the speed would not go beyond. What people did, they put behind the seat.
Yeah.
No.
Here,
I'll just add it. I have seen in some places here, we get it separately in knob.
Yeah.
They will put it here. Just a small device, they will insert it so that it's
like that. Or even so, even if you have this thing, where,
Helmet.
helmet thing, probably once the vehicle starts, he'll remove the helmet.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Right.
So,
People will find ways. So
yeah.
it's not only technology. It is
Basically, the behavior of
behavior.
people. That's the culture we need to build in.
So, sir, now you have a program on educating the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Fantastic.
that plays a very,
Fantastic.
very important
Yeah, so
role.
we do
But it
spend a lot of
Take
time and effort.
But, you know,
Yeah, we are. So a lot of children
Right.
are impressed,
Right.
and we have a VR AR module also, which we are
Right.
trying to train them.
Right.
Then we have something called TTRSI, Traffic Training and Road Safety Institute. So we children come there. We have a traffic park right here
Okay.
on St. Mark's Road.
Right.
So we take them there. We teach them about signs, this thing. More about user modification,
Yeah.
saying that
Yes.
be a model citizen, contribute to this,
Correct.
and tell people around you also, listen, do this. And generally, people listen. The children.
Correct. So,
I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
Since you are here with 120 seconds time, okay, you are there.
Yeah.
There is an emergency hospital vehicle which is coming up.
Yeah.
The people who are in the front, they have to
Yeah.
allow the
This, yeah.
Okay. And your ear system will take 30 seconds video
Yeah.
of the previous one who crossed the signal light.
Yeah.
How will you address?
Yeah. So
I'm from the
that's
traffic warden.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I have seen this kind of a pair where people
Absolutely.
are not ready to move because I will get fined.
No, so what we are trying to do, address that is, we are going towards an adaptive traffic signaling control system where 482 signals
Yeah.
will
That
be
is there,
adapted.
but it is
No,
so
I'll just tell you,
unfortunate.
it's all,
Yeah.
see, it's all a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, this is a 3-year program. Now, what that is going to do, whenever an ambulance is coming in, automatically it will give it green.
Yeah.
So people don't have to worry about moving at all. So automatically it will move. It's not it is synchronized. It is as per the traffic load at that junction. But when an ambulance comes, it is going to give it a green corridor. So this problem of people moving or not moving or willing, it's going to go, because once it's green, people will move.
Perfect.
So that is the solution.
But at this moment,
Very nice.
No, see what happens if you have found that you have violated it and you bring it to our notice. So we are creating an app also wherein it's coming. And I'll tell you one thing, this signal jumping, even though the detection is AI, the traffic chalaning is manual. We have made it manual. We have not, it doesn't go directly to a chalaning system. Our people who are at the back end do find out if there is an ambulance or not, and they don't chalan it at all. That's a temporary thing. But permanent solution is what I spoke.
Sir, few points.
Yeah, members, anybody there
Online.
virtually present online, anything to clarify, you can unmute and then ask a question. So meanwhile, one simple clarification or a question.
Yeah.
Just
See, I'm from Bidadi.
Yeah.
I'm from Bidadi. Currently, we are using the express highway, new express, and the entire path of the expressway is barricaded to chain link barricade.
Fencing.
Now, I think anybody wanting to cross the road, I mean, local villagers, they have opened the chain link and trying to cross the road,
Okay.
which is about 3 lanes, and then two lanes, 10 lanes. They are
10
crossing and coming inside.
Okay.
So this really poses a lot of inconvenience for drivers as well as
Yeah.
for them. This is something that we need to plan to put some skywalks or this is something.
That we will tell the NHA.
Yeah.
Speak to them, although it doesn't come under Bangalore city. I'll tell them. I'll tell the NHA.
And also, I come with the automotive background. A lot of ADAS features to be brought into the vehicle.
Yeah.
It will eliminate the kind of safeties and the parameters like you were talking about. Second is that currently we are at stage of some population in our Bangalore. So we need to have a kind of design engineering for the next 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
How we can all lane planning, etc. Needs to. I'm must be sure you must be doing. I have a question. Just few days back, what happened? I parked my vehicle, and it was car parking was there, and some student just touched my vehicle and it slowed down after 1 hour and hit at some vehicle. So what are the regulations, the rules on that? Just want.
If we claim that you have hit the vehicle.
Yes. Is that I need to put the gear in the first gear always, or the parking gear doesn't work at that time? It doesn't work after 1 hour.
But
I don't.
User behavior.
I don't. There is no hard and fast rules regarding that. But generally, we say to keep it in neutral only. Generally,
Neutral only.
yeah. Generally, we say. But then again, it depends on if there's an incline, right? So because then you would only put the hand.
After 1 hour, it slide down because some students just touch the vehicle and then probably. Thank you, sir.
I think.
Right, sir. Thank you very much.
That's fantastic.
Members, please cooperate. Sir has to leave for one more meeting.
On behalf of BCIC, we like to have a
We have a
small moment of-
vote of thanks.
and then on this side,
Thank you, sir.
thank you for the. Fantastic educated program which you have seen.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for nice.
Thank you.
Good work.
Only few things which I like to mention. Please sit down. 1 second before the. I think these all depend upon our behavior. How we
Yes,
think about it. And even for our manufacturers, we have a 2-point safety system in our company.
Yeah.
What they say is every system what we have, it cannot be behavior based. It is company has to take responsibility. So like that, we should take responsibility for our vehicles, for our own safety, and for our own team members who are working with us. Second is carpooling. Probably we can have much more of intensive work on carpooling.
That's
have. And third, definitely from we had Dr. Salim also here from BCIC team last month.
Last month,
And we were talking about integrated system.
Yeah.
I think digging, like what you mentioned, digging, removing some of the thing which is there.
A lot of things.
And probably if you have working with the team, with the BCIC, we're definitely working with the kind of like a government and all the police. Let us know because we have got 800 companies in our team. Any area in which you want to do, if you want the company to participate, we are willing to participate.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Because it's our duty to
Yes.
take care of
If you want any
our.
awareness programs, we can
Yeah.
join hands.
We will ensure that we will participate.
We'll assure
ensure
our
that we-
best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will get back.
For their own employees, they should take
So
responsibility.
this is my start from BCIC.
Creating awareness for.
Yeah, this is from TVS Motor. You can.
Sir, what we do in our
Yeah.
company, whenever we have any presentation throughout the day, first we start with the safety
Safety.
observation.
Yeah.
10 minutes, whatever we observed, accident, etc., we share with the employee.
And first time I'm seeing outstanding database presentation, very educated, I think fantastic. I think you have done a brilliant job and you are really in a safe hands with. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Just to Dr. Devraj, just a small
sir.
quick point.
Yes,
Just a
sir.
small point, just to add to what you just said about
Yeah.
the carpooling. I don't know whether the present road width of Bangalore will allow this, but as you know, in US, they have a special lane for the carpools. So maybe some kind of an incentivization we could look at for future for carpooling cars.
I think very good point. Yeah.
Sir,
Thank you. I think we'll
one
continue.
second,
Please join.
Please join for
Quick,
photograph.
quick.
Please.
Please.
Quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Viewers,
Take some cookies also. Don't mind. You can open it.
yeah, my apologies, viewers. We just had a very good talk from Mr.
Now we'll go to
Anucheth, Commissioner and very dynamic, young and dynamic officer. And as part of National Safety Month celebrations, today we had the road safety. On 13th, we are having a program on fire safety. Mr. Alok Mohan, IPS, Director General, Karnataka State Fire and Emergency Services is coming over here to BCIC, addressing the members.
Monday.
Coming Monday. Thereafter, we have construction safety on 28th. And then on 29th, we have the industrial safety and electrical safety. And also we are concluding the entire month-long celebrations with sharing of industrial safety and best practices from companies like Volvo, TVS, Toyota, etc. So members, please stay tuned to all these programs. And I move on to the next program of today. We have with us Mr. Raghavendra Krishnamurthy, who is the founder, director of Antiz Technologies. Antiz Technologies. So he's going to talk about driving safety protocol using virtual reality. So this is something that we are eager to know and eager to at least get to know how things are shaping up in bringing in awareness on various matters of safety. So over to you. Welcome, Mr. Raghavendra, and over to you now.
Thank you.
You can be seated here.
You can join there. I will learn.
Right. It's fine. Thank you.
You can come there, yeah.
Yeah, so that people can see.
You said it. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
And thank you for giving us this opportunity to present our thought process on how the technology can enable to, I would say, change in behavior over time, but it will help in the cultural shift in the road safety for the people. And I think we had an excellent discussion from Mr. Anucheth, and I think it was very, very insightful. And if Mr. Anucheth did mention that there are technologies like the gamification, the virtual reality, the augmented reality, and using AI would help in this gamification, the driver behavior as well. So now if you observe, I think, from an industry standpoint, there are thousands of people commute daily, to Bangalore's industrial and IT hubs around the city, right? And, they use the two-wheelers, four-wheelers, and it's very, very important for them to, be aware of the road safety aspects. And this technologies, we have been, working in gamification and the immersive learning space. And, we work with companies like the Toyotas, TVS, and then Mitsubishi, Schneider Electric, where, we have been working in terms of educating their operator skill behaviors. And safety is one of them. And, we have built a product called Suraksha. Suraksha is more on the gamification of the industrial safety. And, there are topics like the height work, electrical safety, and chemical safety, and all of them. And road safety is one of them. And this is what I talked about, Suraksha. And this includes the defensive driving. And, we are working with, organizations like the Schneider Electric, where they're field service technicians, where we have gamified the road safety, because they are spread across India. And it's very, very important for them to, learn more on the road safety part of it, both the four-wheelers and the two-wheelers. And interestingly, we also have worked with the Tata Motors. And, we were in a Jamshedpur plant some time back, and we helped them in the defensive driving for the truck drivers. So, the most important was we don't have to teach them about the driving, but, how do they follow the safety protocol was very, very important. So what we did was we built a gamified defensive driving for the reversing part of it, and how they use based on the language, and as well as use the gamification to identify what are the safety protocols they need to follow while they were doing it. And, it's all based on the touch-based, and it was on a kiosk, and it was on a local language as well. And, we were also part of a safety day event organized by the Karnataka State Safety Institute on March 4th. And as a partner of, technology partner to KSSI, where, we were able to demonstrate the virtual reality, using virtual reality, how the change in behavior of, the users can be addressed. And these are, some of our engagements on the road safety. One is, we have built the campus driving safety for ABB, where, a couple of factories, in ABB, they use the gamified version of the road safety, which are within the campus. And, I was talking about the Tata Motors, where, how the gamification again can be used for the truck drivers. And, for the Snyder, again, we have the road safety for the field services technicians as well. So I have my colleague Shrikant as well. Shrikant would like to add a few points.
Okay.
We work from the enterprise point of view, where we, have the Suraksha product where it has about 40 different topics on safety. And because of some popular demand that, employees need to be safe while coming and going to the factory. Generally, the factories are outside the city. So based on that, we helped create this topic. One is, of course, about the campus driving, where you have internal to campus is more stringent rather than on the roads outside. You have rules within the campus that has to be followed. So we created, of course, a learning video followed by an interactive game where people can play. And there are a number of hazards that are planted at random. And people have to identify, and then if they don't identify, they get into an accident and things like that. And of course, gamification means that, if you don't do it well, you fail. If you do it proper, if you identify all the hazards and avoid them and stuff like that, you pass and you get a certificate. Similarly, in truck driving protocols, some of these large automotive factories now that where you have, in fact, what we hear is about nearly 1,000 trucks coming in and out every day. Heavy vehicles moving their heavy material, stuff like that, especially when they are loading, unloading, and reversing and things like that. They have to be taught protocols. They have to strictly adhere to protocols. Like if you want to reverse, you need to have an assistant guiding you. So all these things have to be taught to these people. Showing them videos, of course, they will learn. But playing a game, a 3D game, and you take it one step forward in virtual reality, a person can actually wear this virtual reality and feel it. He is the plant and he is reversing the vehicle, and there are hazards all around him. So when he's doing that and experiencing it, it remains with him. So we are like this. We are also experimenting with how these people actually, work with the digitization and stuff like that. Initially, there was some resistance saying that these things will not work. People will not be able to use these virtual devices and stuff like that. But as we see, the youngsters and all that using mobile and these devices, they smoothly use it. And we saw that the truck drivers and all that got adapted to this kind of technology very, very fast. In fact, they liked it. Okay, really, physically doing this kind of simulations and all the stuff is not possible. So virtually, it is very easy to simulate various hazards and things like that on the road. The other aspect of it is, we have this instance where the safety has to be delivered across to hundreds of field technicians distributed all across India. So how do you teach them? So we had this on the cloud, which comes onto their mobile. They have a learn video, they have a quiz, and then they play a small game. And then once they complete it, they get a certificate by email. only after getting the certificate, they are allowed to go and service. And they are expected to take this kind of a test every year and get certified. So these are different ways where technology is used to certify people who are very distributed. You can't bring them to the same class and then teach them. And with all these things, you can even certify them without manual interventions and things like that. And all these things are, monitored by someone in the central station, where they can remind people to undergo the safety course and get certified. So these are all the different ways that we are trying to bring in technology in promoting safety in the industry. Raghavendra.
Yeah, no, I think, Mr. Anucheth was mentioning that the changes in the behavior, I think, it would take time. But the most important is how do you bring in that shift in the cultural change or the behavior aspect of it. So there is this typical saying, right? If I say it, you forget. If I show you, you might remember. But if I involve you, you would understand. So basically, the gamification is one. We believe that there are people who are using it would get involved. They would understand it better. And, when they start experiencing it, then over a period of time, that the cultural shift in the people, right from, we were talking about the Swiggies or the food aggregators are concerned, right? I mean, you talk about giving them a gamified app of the road safety part of it, right? The most important part of it. And, over a period of time that would help them in, making a cultural shift. And we are also working, in terms of one of the largest two-wheelers, of course, the TVS Motors in how do we bring in the road safety for the truck drivers, both the inbound and outbound vehicles which are happening on a day-to-day basis? What kind of, the digital interventions we can make so that there is a behavioral change over a period of time? So I think, that is where we are working towards. And the Suraksha as a product not only brings in the industrial safety topics which we are working on, but road safety is one of the key, the safety element which we are working with the industry to, build the app, and so that it can the scale is very, very important. And since we have built this Suraksha application on smartphones as well, right? And most of the users are very savvy in terms of the smartphones, right? They would go and do that. And we are also working with one of the largest the global player of how do we bring in the defensive driving protocols for the cab drivers, right? Because it's very, very important for the cab drivers also, because if they won't pick up the employees and drop them to the locations, they would get penalized as well. So these are all various, the road safety applications and trying to digitize the driving protocols. The safety is definitely one of them. And, we would be very, very happy to, work with the state government, the traffic police, right, Mr. Anucheth and his team, and as well as with the BCIC in, developing these apps. And, we were talking internally, can we create a viral video of 1 or 2 minutes and then, push it across, because these are all app-based. And, we can push it across the industry, across the BCIC members. And, they in turn, can distribute across to their employees and suppliers and the contract workforce. That would definitely help in terms of bringing the safety awareness. Now, it's definitely a cultural shift. And, we have been observing, we work with the blue collar workforce with most of the industries, especially in Bidadi industrial area as well. So we feel that that cultural shift only can happen, over a period of time. But the digital interventions are very, very important, and we can work with the government and the industry to do that.
Yeah, correct. Good.
I would suggest go back to the previous slide. Previous. Yeah, these are some of the pictures of actual implementation, where we had, the one in the center, the guy operating a kiosk is actually a truck driver. On this side, the guy wearing a green jacket with a virtual headset on him is actually a construction worker. And of course, this guy is a machine operator, a workstation operator here. And even, all these people are using digital forms of learning. These are some of the pictures that you've taken from the implementation. So,
the construction site you have simulated it there.
yeah, you have a construction site and you have various hazards over there. We have another simulator for a forklift. You can sit in a forklift virtually, and then you can go around in a warehouse. And there are so many other rules to be followed in the warehouse. That is, every crossing you have to do a Yoast check and stuff like that. And then there are platforms, slanting platforms where you have to carry it backwards. So these are certain rules that you can simulate very easily using virtual reality. And once you pass it, then the game automatically will calculate whether you have any penalties, you got points.
Demerit points. Yeah.
And then based on that, a certificate can be issued right there.
Which is
And these kind of games and all that, we decide that, it should not be more than 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
You can play it any number of times with these kind of simulation games. Like that, you can have, simulation games for welding, for forklift driving, various kind of things, which includes the actual operations as well as safety aspects to it.
This should be a certificate mandatory for employments.
Yeah.
For the driving.
See, right now, what we see in the industry is that a lot of classroom training is done, but assessments is skipped, or assessment is done manually. Now, even digitizing that, or even putting that assessment on a kiosk, what we have done is, with including construction workers, temporary workers, and stuff like that, who basically don't read. So we have created the assessment with pictures. So all they have to do is just touch the screen. So there's a number of questions that will be asked. It's a picture-based quiz, or even a video-based quiz. What we are saying, even in road safety, there'll be a number of videos of people overtaking or going in the wrong side and stuff like that. Those kind of videos that we throw at people, it has to identify. We call it as a video quiz. So these kind of things are not text driven, no reading. You just observe it and you point out the hazard and find out, okay. So these kind of solutions we are bringing in for people, operators, and, floor level workers.
By seeing a picture, you can say, identify which are the hazardous points. And based on their view, you can always make the point like what is
that will improve this response.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very important. Even it is training given is a practically.
Even some of the, when the companies now that, in one of them, they had this thing called a stop, call, wait and stuff like that. If anything goes wrong with the machine, don't put your hand and try to do it. Get the proper technician to do it. So these kind of things, we simulate it on virtual reality. We create a abnormality, and the guy, if he tries to fix it, his hand gets cut.
Correct. Yeah.
Blood comes out. So he has to immediately press a button which will get the response team over there, technical response team over there will actually handle the abnormality. So these are the kind of things where the simulations brought down like games.
What platform you are using?
We use Unity.
It's a game engine.
It's a game engine. So
He's a gaming expert also.
or
I also do, this is my one of the core domain on extended reality.
I see.
okay.
And one part is that I take care of the company also, apart from many other things. I do a lot of voluntary, probably thousands of people on this I've trained in India from
I see.
IIT Madras is a voluntary approach. So, and I'm Unreal Engine certified.
All right. All right.
India, out of whole world is there are 250 people. So in India, we have 50. So I am one of them.
Very nice.
Okay.
I create this kind of content, etc. And coming to Tata Motors, I've been 28 years working for Tata Motors. I was head of Tata Technology Jamshedpur and Jamshedpur.
Okay.
So we all did this. In fact, Tata Motors started this content around 25 years back. But at the time, our hardware, etc., was very, very costly. Setting up our BR lab, this was very, very around 15 crores. But what we have done in recent past, we do create a lot of digital factory. And if you see whatever you have seen in the Jamshedpur, it's all my leadership has happened.
Okay.
So we have created a lot of process, operation manual, product process, resources, quality, safety, forklift, overhead, crane operator.
Sure.
So for India, for all the locations, for Jamshedpur, Lucknow, Pantnagar, and Myanmar plant, we have done it. But now, sometimes what happens? Left hand doesn't know what right hand does. So it happens that
What happens is, in driving,
we have done in the service department probably.
see here what for driving, they had a number of SOPs. From ISO, they have the whole lot of SOPs for driving.
Difficult to read.
Difficult to read, difficult to follow. So what we did is we deconstructed that into protocols.
Yeah.
Safety protocols.
So what we found is there are,
Understand.
yeah, so there are about 10 to 15 protocols when you're driving a truck. You start it, you stop it. When you stop it, you have to put that stoppers, choke and all the stuff. When you're reversing, there's a certain protocol that you have to follow. Unloading, loading. So we deconstructed that SOP into protocols. And for each protocol, we developed a small game. So if a person has to go through it, rather than reading, there are some few protocols that he has to play, and first few times he will get it wrong. Next, I think he has to get used to the protocols.
So about 100 drivers they
Make
did
the
that.
proofing there, and then you can evaluate judges and repetitive we can. Those are the advantage, right?
They have learned. Whether they really implement in the field, that's a different thing.
In your view only for currently what I'm trying to do, we know the engineering software, not digital one. I need the game engine platform. So I'm just bridging the gap, how the game engine platform can be brought into the engineering application. So talk about design visualization, you talk about the sales configuration, talk about the variant management, talk about the XR of all the processes, that's roles I'm just playing.
Sure.
So I worked for the Unity for the 5 years, and then Unreal Engine now is I'm just driving. Also one of the things, very nice, good work being done, and you're focusing on the safety.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So we actually focus on the industry. Within industry, we do, one is of course, we have a product on safety because most of the topics are generic. Some of them have to be specific to the company.
Yes.
Then we also do what you call as workstation instructions, SOPs and all that, which will show if you have a TV or a screen in front of your workstation, all that, it'll tell you what is the assembly instructions and stuff like that, if it's a batch production and stuff like that. The third thing that we do is operator training simulators, like assembling a watch, we also have, running a electric substation. When the power goes off, what to do, power comes back, what to do, auto mode, manual mode. So these are all done in 3D as a game. So people know, they follow the SOPs step by step.
And it becomes more challenging. It is a process industry.
See, one thing which you found in all, I think a very good presentation what you made until now. See, we should think safety as a part of a whole system.
Correct.
Because the person joining a company, for example, he take 12 hours in a day in the company. From the day he starts from his home, come to the vehicle, to the factory, stay in the factory for 8 hours, going back, almost take 12 hours, plus around 4 hours for him to other duty. So around 85% he spends time with us in the company. So as a part of our own work in BCIC, we like to see how we should take care of the person from driving or carpooling or behavior.
Many of
And
these
working inside
operators,
the factory.
we found, the field technicians, most of them use two-wheelers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Majority.
Secondly,
one our safety, when we did the safety video with all that, we had to tune it to
Exactly.
two-wheelers. And of course, the language also has to be either Hindi for some people, Tamil and Kannada. And India.
Secondly, one more thing is inside the factory itself.
Correct.
The design of the layout, design of the flow, because he is inside the factory.
Yeah.
That's why we are very particular in terms of any plant we do. Design for safety from beginning.
Right.
And nothing like, it can't be said he didn't do it properly. Then nothing like his behavior is, nothing is done by him because there is no system which you have given to him. Engineering plays a very important role.
Visibility will come.
Gaming is very important.
Fatigue and all.
Plant layout and all that. Retail movement is the major thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And secondly is the ergonomics portion of it, posture of the person.
And,
So if you can, it's a big exercise in which
challenge accident happens with EOT cranes handling.
OT cranes and all that. So we have techniques like that.
Sure.
yeah. So, yeah.
Sure. Perfect. Well, I think, would like to thank you, Melissa, and
I have a demo. I don't think we have the time to display it over here.
I think most of the viewers will be there just to. Mr. Parsaman, former
hello, sir.
How are you?
EMD.
Thank you so much.
I think we have met somewhere.
We met in your
Plant only.
plant in
Chile,
sir.
No, we had this thing on safety today.
Yeah.
Anucheth from IPS, you were there in the Joint Commissioner of Police. And now trying to complete a presentation on gamification. How safety can be made into the practice for the people by gamification. And that was
Wonderful.
took a very interesting session till now. And we're trying to ask many questions where how you can improve the behavior.
In fact,
How to-
Bidadi Industries area.
Yeah.
But thanks for all your big support.
Yeah.
So we want to make it as a model area.
Yeah.
And horizontally deploy this model to several other industrial
Correct,
clusters.
correct.
Especially what has happened with our new products. Now our hybrid I-Cross and High-Rider. The truck load has increased very significantly. And the supply chain has become very, very busier. So this model, we can roll it out. Of course, we have been tracking through continuously all the cameras we have seen, but not sufficient. There's still a lot of dangerous points are there, potholes, and awareness levels are too low. So I think together with your team, definitely love to work. But the other day, Mr. Prasad was telling me that he is fully working on these areas, the transport secretary. And I think you're also working very closely with the transport.
No, sir, not yet. But we work with, engines and TKM and all, where, we are trying to build this gamification element into the
Gamification concept is more of a
Modeling and then you
modeling and simulation.
simulation.
And
Correct.
in the real situation, you get into the thing. When you ride the vehicle, you're riding the vehicle. It's all surrounding and understanding. What all
With the 3D VR technology.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. We can use it in all our applications.
In fact, sir, all the ADAS related features which are being developed. So once we develop and we gamify that, and with the actuator and the games being played with the game engine platform is being developed, and all autonomous are nowadays following. I see the
Question
is
from
doing
the-
right.
Yeah, I mean, if we can play one video, people can understand what exactly.
Maybe at one.
Yes.
There.
Like
Can
in
you,
Payon.
Ashok, can you just play it on 3 minutes? Someone has to explain.
This is a awareness video. If you want to play the game, then you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Road safety. Introduction. The field services function requires extensive travel to client locations. Careful driving through crowded city roads and on highways are important requisites of doing one's job. Some facts. 54% of road traffic deaths are pedestrians, cyclists and motorcycles. India rates of road traffic death per 1 lakh population is 16.6.
The road awareness.
India is 1% of the world's
games
vehicles,
we have.
but 10% of the road traffic deaths.
We have one more video.
It's a small game.
Some of the distractions:
Yeah.
manual, eating or drinking, setting the GPS, adjusting the radio, reaching for something in your purse, use of a mobile device,
My laptop.
visual distractions, checking the kids, looking at the scenery or poster, watching something overhead while walking, use of a mobile device. Cognitive distractions, having a discussion, thinking about personal, family, or work-related issues, use of a mobile device.
Industry, congratulations.
Today's state.
Safety tips:
Oh, nice.
be visible, wear reflective jacket,
Your card.
remain alert, watch for opening car doors and other hazards, leave plenty of room between your bike and other vehicles, proper vehicle light, eye contact with nearby driver, avoid using high volume on headset, ability to see through of side back mirrors, speed as per conditions. Be defensive, use seat belt, use helmet.
See, the same thing we have also.
25% to 30% of all vehicles collision occur at intersection within 2 seconds after the red light changes. Follow the 2-second rule. Fatigue contributing 20% of the road accidents. Avoid distraction. Cell phone use for talking, texting, other common distraction, eating, conversation with others, rushing, frustrations. Summary: contributing factors to crash may be related to the driver, the vehicle, or the road condition itself. Self-discipline in being aware of all the time and following all traffic rules are important factors in preventing mishaps and being safe while driving.
To share, can I? Here's my screen.
Done, na? Thank you. You are going to play something else?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Some challenging.
Yeah, I think games we have to connect that, right?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Raghavendra. And
Thanks a lot. All the best.
we'll meet you again on 29th.
Any other point from the online?
Yes.
Yeah, any viewers here, anything to ask with Mr. Raghavendra?
You can unmute and you
Can unmute. You can send your questions in the chat box.
You think it is useful? Is very useful.
Yeah.
Meeting.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Oh, sure.
Yes.
So if there are no other questions, let us wind up today's awareness session on road safety.
Thank you.
On behalf of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce and Bidadi Industries Association, I thank each and every participant for sparing your time and making yourself available today. And also thank all the participants who attended this particular seminar in a hybrid mode in BCIC office. Thanks one and all, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
You have a voicing for.
Yeah, Mr. Devaraj.
Please, yeah, on behalf of BCIC, can please join. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, please join. Please. Sir, you also join now. Sir, you join, sir. Please join.